Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Janine Harry, and it is so good to be back with another video. I also want to thank you guys so much for taking some time out of your day to get on here and to tune in. I do appreciate that so much. So, thank you. I was a bit reluctant to get on here and record today because I do have a terrible case of sinus. And because my videos are so focused on the audio aspect of things, I wasn't sure if I was ready to just share my voice with you because I was thinking, like, am I going to sound good enough? Am I going to sound sick? Like, what on earth? But I am feeling much better. And I think that I'm also sounding much better. So here we are doing this video. I also want to call this video the conversation series because I don't just want to sound like I'm teaching and preaching all the time. So, this conversation series is basically me just getting on here and spontaneously speaking and also giving myself the space to just breathe and unwind with you a bit. And if that comes with the glitches of pauses, spontaneous laughter, moments of confusion, then yes, we welcome that because that is all part of just, spontaneous conversation. So this is actually, yes, a part of my conversation series. So let's discuss what most women do not want to admit. Ooh, what most women do not want to admit. I know that a lot of y'all men are going to run to watch this video. Well, if it appears in your algorithm at least. Because, hey, you guys want to know what is it that we as women do not want to admit. And here's the thing, we do not want to admit that we want the marriage, we want the kids, we want the boyfriend, we want the mans, we want the romantic connections. We don't want to admit those things because we are living within a society that has pushed the Miss Independent narrative to its detriment. And this is how toxic femininity has been created. And it's so funny because as women, we love speaking about toxic masculinity. Like, this is what a man should be doing, and this is what he shouldn't be doing, and this is how he should be acting. But it's high time that we actually start pointing a finger at ourselves and asking ourselves, okay, like, as women, do we inhabit some toxic feminine traits as well? And toxic femininity is when we do have this sort of mentality where it's like, I am Miss Independent. I don't want the marriage. I don't want the kids. I can do all things on my own. And the reality is that we cannot do all things on our own. And we need to admit this. And also, we need to admit this so proudly and loudly. From a biological standpoint, there are certain things that women can only do, where men cannot do those things. And there are things that men can do, which women cannot do. And this is not just about biology. There are so many things within life that only men can do, or that only women can do. So, yes, we need to actually admit that gender roles and gender performances are real. But we have created this society where women are like, I can do all things. I don't need the marriage. I don't need the kids. I don't need the boyfriend. I don't want those things. And most often, we do not want to admit that we actually want those things because we have been hurt. Like, yeah, we have been so hurt. And I can speak about a personal story. Okay. So there was a time in my life where I was pushing for marriage and kids. Like, I really wanted those things. And when I got into one of my first serious relationships, I was like, yes, I am finally going to get all of those things. This means marriage, this means kids. And when that relationship didn't work out, I convinced myself that, you know what, marriage, kids, romance, that is all just a fairy tale. It is not real. Relationships are toxic. Like, all of those things are just things for the movies, it's things for the fairy tales. That is not real. And what happened is that we as women, we start to suppress our desires. We start to deny our desires. And our desires are we actually want the marriage, we actually want the kids. And most often, when we see these videos, specifically on Instagram, of women like saying things like, I don't want kids, I don't want marriage, it is a coping mechanism because I can promise you that underneath that confidence of saying, I don't want this, I don't want that, the underneath all of that is somebody that has been hurt and somebody that believes they cannot get those things. And when we believe that we cannot get certain things, it is easy to say that we don't want those things. But now, more than ever, most women are actually admitting what a lot of other women don't want to admit. And that is that we do want the marriage. We actually do want the kids. We want to be Miss Independent, but this doesn't mean that we want to do all things on our own. We understand that we can be independent. We understand that we can have careers, we can have a life, we can do whatever it is that we want to do. But we also want to do those things in union and in partnership with another human being. Hence, that person being a man, a husband, a boyfriend. And for the longest time ever, as I said, I never wanted to admit this. I never wanted to ever admit that I want the marriage, I want the kids, because I felt as though that made me seem like I am such a weak person. Because what would it mean for myself if I say I want marriage, I want kids? What would that actually mean? Would that mean I am a weak person? Would that mean that there are certain things I cannot do for myself? And then I realized that just by saying I want a husband, I want kids, it doesn't mean anything bad. It just means that I have a desire for human connection, human romantic connections. I have this desire to be a mother. I have this desire to perform that aspect of myself that is mothering someone else, that is a nurturer, that is a caretaker. And there's no shame in wanting to have our feminine aspect prevail and take root within this life. Because what makes us feminine, what makes us truly feminine, what makes us exercise healthy femininity is when we can get to this space where we are admitting that we want to be loved, that we want to caretake, that we want to be mothers, that we want to be wives, that we want to be girlfriends, right? That is how we actually admit to this inner emotional and healthy femininity within ourselves. It's when we admit that we as women want to be in union with the opposite gender, that being a man. And most women do not want to admit to this because there was a time in their lives, in our lives, where we have been hurt, as I said. And when we realized unconsciously that the marriage, the kids, the house with the white picket fence and the family dog, those are just fairy tales, right? We cannot really get those things. We cannot really source those things. So we have had a hard time admitting that we want those things because when we were in a stage of our lives when we were so adamant on actually wanting and getting those things, we were hurt. The point where we denied and suppressed our desires. And that has done more harm than good. Because now we are living in a society where women are giving men all these mixed signals. Like we're saying that we want the marriage, we're saying we want the kids, we're saying we want the boyfriend, but then we're acting like we can do all things for ourselves. Then we're acting like Miss Independent. Then we're acting like this, that, and the other. And men are confused. They're like, girl, what are you on about? What do you actually want? I want to provide for you. I want to caretake for you. I want to be there for you. And when I speak about provision, I know that I'm ruffling a lot of feathers once again because providing for women is not just about providing financially for women. Like, come on, women can provide financially for themselves, no problem. Okay. And this is why women don't want to even use the word like I want someone to provide because it makes them seem weak. It makes them seem as though they can't provide for themselves. But here's the thing, like women can provide for themselves. Women can do things for themselves. It is okay to be Miss Independent, but it is also okay to be Miss Independent in partnership with another person, wanting the marriage, wanting the boyfriend, wanting that romantic connection and unity does not make you weak. It does not mean that you cannot do things for yourself. It just means that you want to have the perspective and the experience of actually experiencing love. And I think it's really cute, for lack of better word, when we as women can just be like, yeah, I actually want that. Like it's so nice that we can go back to the things that we love, right? Like I made a video a couple of, was it last week when I spoke about we need to return to the things that we love. And that also includes returning to our desires. What is it that we actually want? You know, when we were teenagers, we were so fascinated with the idea of marriage and kids and relationships. We were such lover girls and lover boys. And then we got hurt and we convinced ourselves that all of that is just a fairy tale. But it's so good to just go back to this space of absolute pure innocence when it comes to love. And it's like, yes, I actually want to experience love. I want to experience that 90s type of relationship. I want to experience that fairy tale. I want to experience that romance. And it is okay to admit these things. It doesn't make you weak, it doesn't make you incompetent. Wanting to be a wife, wanting to be a girlfriend, wanting to be a mother, it does not make you weak. It makes you aware of the fact that you want to tap into that healthy feminine aspect of yourself. It is okay to want those things. It is okay to want unity. We as women, we are we are so scared of relationships. We are so scared of connection because of what has happened to us in our past. But it is okay to be brave enough to understand that you are so deserving. We are so deserving of romance. We are so deserving of romantic connection. There's no shame because, oh my gosh, guys, we are living in a society that is quite literally shaming romantic connections, shaming women for wanting to be mothers, shaming women for wanting to be romantic, and even shaming men for wanting those things as well. And gosh, believe you me, I've even shamed myself for wanting those things. But now I'm in such a beautiful space in my life where it's like, you know what, it is okay to want those things. I even love this thumbnail that I'm using today with all the hearts and stuff. Like, it is okay to be romantic and soft. It is okay. This is not just about a fairy tale, but if you want to call it a fairy tale, then it is okay to have that fairy tale. Okay. So, we as women, we need to step out of toxic femininity. We need to understand that yes, we can be Miss Independence out here. We can be doing what we want to do. We can be doing all things, but it is also okay to do all things in union with somebody. So go back to the things you love. Remind yourself of your desires when it comes to romantic connections. It is okay to want the love. Okay. I hope that next year on Valentine's Day, you're going to have a better one. Okay. um, yes. It is okay. It is fine to want romance. We need to bring romance back. We need to bring old school love back. It is okay to want those things, and we need to admit that. There is no shame in admitting that. Okay? So I'm going to leave this message and this video right here for now. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you know another woman or man who might need to see this video, then please do not hesitate to share the link of this video with that person. Also, if you need to get into contact with me via, just asking me to discuss anything, or if you want me to discuss anything, I'll see what I can do for you. I will leave my contact details down below in the description box, okay? But till next time, guys, so much love to each and every one of you. Love you.